Hi guys, welcome to Sassoon Academy. Thanks for joining us. We're here with the fabulous Tracy. She's doing a super cool short little haircut for us. I'm Colton. I'll be here to answer any questions that you have. So please ask away and enjoy.
Yeah, cool. Hi everybody. Thanks Hairbrain for always having me and giving me the opportunity to share hair. Beautiful little face here in Rex, and I'm going to work quite an androgynous little look with a very heavy top. You can see here what we're managing is quite a strong calic. So I'm going to start out with a little rounded shape on the face, graduated, put some weight just to hold that down, and then I'm going to work an interesting layering story behind that. So I'm going to start right in that front. I think it's really nice to just clear the top edge of the eyebrow, beautiful shape in the brows. So that's kind of my goal for shape, and coming in right into the temple, dropping into the temple. It's really nice when you're working shapes around the face to truly follow the bone structure. And so coming from the arch of the eyebrow and then setting the weight right in the corner into the temple. So I'll start there. I'm also joined here by Allison, who's our creative director here at the Academy. And it's always nice to cut hair with someone else. So Allison's here doing a cool little crop shape on Melanie. Okay, so just lifting the hair up and out. Getting a little tension on the hair just to have a graduated edge, but not lifting so high that we take the weight out and can't manage the calic. Once the weight's in there, we're good. So it just allows it to pop up, sit in the corner, and take one more little go at that so it doesn't drop down. What I don't want is it to be sad. So if the angle drops down a little bit too much, it becomes a frown, I guess. It's a little too low. So you start out square and then just take that little step over to the corner of the eyebrow. And that just brings that up that little bit more. Yeah. So I've kind of got that little corner that I've put in already, and then this pushing back on it. Work a couple sections through everything that reaches onto the edge, both sides.
Jose Rivera, Tracy said, what up?
So in the interest of time, what I've done is I've worked a finger's length, little graduated shape on the underneath, starting in the center back, get a nice little head shape, and then came to building weight right into the temple. So the little shape in the back comes up, drops down into there, and then the top shape will meet it in the edge. It'll be disconnected from the inside, which I'll show you later. Quite classic technique. I think when you have a beautiful face and great hair, you don't have to be overly complicated. You just got to get all the lengths right in all the areas. And I almost think a less is more approach. And the creativity comes more into how you put the story together than the end look. So that brings versatility, I guess. Versatility, I should say, to it.
Lots of hellos. Hi from San Antonio, from Peggy. Barbara says hello.
Turn her to the mirror. Just have a little peek at the shape and the fringe. Yeah, and I'll try to work that same little shape on the other side. So it was about 3 sections in before I started running out of length. Curved sections, follow the hairline. I mean, strong growth, you can see that. Like it all just really wants to go that way. So it's just good to see that, because that will tell you where the weight's going to push. So really in this side, being careful not to leave too much on this edge. The hair naturally is going to push itself into that. So I posted something, I wanted to talk about. I did a little story the other day about an offer that we have here, and I kind of wanted to talk about it because it's something that we normally don't do, and I am super excited about the opportunity for someone. But basically, we do one-day courses, 1 days, but they're in the form of one-to-one. So it's one student, one teacher, 1 day or 2 days or more. But other than that, we don't really have an opportunity to just pop in for the day. But not this week coming, but the following week, which is maybe the 10th. The 10th, we're offering any one of the days in the week, Monday through Friday, as a one-day Sassoon experience. And I think the first 2 days are classic days, ABC, what we say ABC. So it's the fundamentals, the understanding of cutting hair, the practice of it. If you're getting your hands in it, just practice back to being really pure with your work. And then there's a men's day in the middle, which is Wednesday. And then there's 2 salon creative days with a close of a look at the collection or insight on the collection. So it's super cool. I mean, Allison said that they should gift themselves, that people should gift themselves. And I don't know if you guys do that, but whenever I go Christmas shopping, I wind up buying myself something as well. I thought that was kind of a cool idea. So it's a cool opportunity. I'm hoping that we take it into the year, into next year as well, because I think everybody's time is different now, and I think people like to have the opportunity to do something in a small way like that. Something good, but in a small, easy, accessible way. So I'm just going to continue until everything comes to this point, and then I will start back in the crown then. Talk about that.
Okay.
So in the fingers, this side comes up a little bit longer, but it kind of has to stay that way because it allows for its little jump. Even though I'm using a lot of tension, I'm still making sure. Okay, I want to follow around the edge.
We do have a question from Barbara. Do we offer any of these one-day courses in Toronto? We have a Toronto location. Do we offer these in any other location?
We don't. As I said, I mean, we don't right now.
Right.
But why not? Sure. Yeah. Put a request in. I think that would be a good thing for Barbara to do. I think it's going to be really cool and really successful. We have a lot of interest in it. So I think it's one of those things that when that happens, it just becomes eventually a thing that we'll be able to do anywhere, in any one of our locations. We're based in Toronto. We have an amazing team in Toronto, and our academy's there in our salon. They would love it.
Yeah.
We do 2 days out of New York City. And then any number of days here in our academy. Because the academy here is cool. It's one of my favorite places to be, which is why probably I've never left. We have cosmetology here as well, so it's really getting to mold the future. So you can see just working through that graduated edge. It doesn't connect, but it sits over and looks as if it does. And just getting that nice little pudding bowl through the top. I love the idea of the round and then the sharp corner coming out the edge of it. I'm just going to get all the edge, the graduated edge in first, and then I'll work a little layer story through the surface, top surface. Again, natural fall, just combing the hair into where it wants to live with just a little bit of elevation, especially here in this crown. Natural color here with just a few foils put in it. I think she has such a great natural color that sometimes you don't have to change all of it, and you almost could do color where it becomes unseen and looks like as if it was naturally there. And so Lucas did some darker low lights in the front, through the front, and he'll come in, he could talk about that a little bit in a little while. As I get to the back, I'm elevating higher. So if you think about it, I was there, flat off. As I come to the back, I'm just coming up a little bit higher so it drops over the crown higher up and not in a saggy way, which can happen sometimes with your rounder shapes. They can droop down a bit in the back of the head. so I almost turned my fingers up.
Model has a nice compliment.
I'm sure.
Can you ask the
At
model
least
if
one.
she has swallowed an angel because she looks like heaven?
Oh,
Oh,
so cute.
so
Amazing Valentine's, beautiful.
that was from Sean. Thank you, Sean.
Kind of can't go wrong in that case when you have a
Yeah,
model
that's pretty
like
great.
that.
That's a good one. We have to feel that one sometime.
Making sure there's no corners, so when you're working, rounding the edge. Slowly, little panels. Color on Ellison's is really beautiful as well. Gray. Check balance, you could easily do that. You know, what I do really more than pulling on it is just look to see the space I have over the ear, between the edge of the hair and the top of the ear, opposed to kind of pulling on it, and especially with hair that has quite a bit of jumpiness to it. Feels good. And as to go on what Mark says, if it looks good, it is good. So if it looks good, it is good. It's made my work much easier to do. So I remember there was a time where I would obsess over, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but it can be if it cuts into time or other limitations, where I'd obsess over it being like so perfectly felt in the fingers, you know. But hair is so organic, it just needs to kind of be living and breathing. The look in mind for this was kind of the 90s Comme de Grassane pudding bowl, which I love. Mm-hmm. So it's really right up my alley of that. And so when I saw her, I thought, that's it. That's it. Jumping the crown as well, so just watching myself through that. And then just so I don't have a back that lays flat, I'm going to just come through the back square. And that's going to start the layering story as well. And I'll show you what I mean. Let me just get this sections. Any questions, or we mesmerized everyone into
is loving it.
silence?
Hang on, like the 90s, Linda Evangelista vibe.
Yeah, totally, right? That's it, exactly. My favorite. So I'm going to start, so you see, because I pulled both sides, you have that corner. We don't need the corner. Square makes round on the head shape. And what I mean by that is if you just pull this back in a square manner, when you let go of it, it rounds back that way. So it just takes the shape of the head. I want to leave all the weight on the front, but I do want to layer through here a little bit. So let me just get this back here first. And then I'll show you something that Allison actually did yesterday. I'm taking your idea. I think it was yesterday anyway.
Yeah, barbering.
Mm-hmm. For the barbering, yeah. So with our collections, the collections are always underpinned. I know a lot of you guys are Sassoonis. So the collections are, as you know, underpinned always by technique, which is important. Because that doesn't make a trend. It has a technique behind it. It becomes then, and can become, suitable for the wearer because you adjust for the individual. And it's always, for me, the individual is my biggest influence. No matter what I have in mind, it can totally change because the person that steps in front of me. And not just by how they look, but when you get to meet them. And sometimes you could tell in just a few words what their vibe is. And it's so important for me, to get that right for them, to get the look right for them and who they are. And so I think when things are underpinned by technique, you always can take and make hair right for the individual. And it's not just like plunking a look on someone that you had in your head. If that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to start here. I'm going to lift straight up. We're going to have a point in the middle because I've pulled it from one side to the other and graduated it. Square, pulling away from the crown and just starting my layering.
Tracy, you're so clean. How did you get so good? How are you so clean?
I think it's a discipline.
Tracy's magic.
Yeah. I'm working on an angel. It's easy.
Right.
It's a discipline, isn't it? You have to want to be. And I think it's not hard to be. It's hard to make sure it happens consistently, though. To take clean sections is easy. You know, one of the tips I tell people, really basic things, comb the hair first and foremost in the direction that you want the section to be. So I've actually put all the sections in. I'm working horizontally, put all the sections in. Wide tooth of the comb, finger follows the comb. And I have the comb and the finger that easily holds both sides. Comb combs away. And then I have this hair to then pick up and work with. And I always work with clean kind of combs with sections when I'm working as well. So I have a lot of control over a small area on the head. Yeah, that makes sense.
You say that the combs and scissors are important to getting clean results?
Oh my God, yeah, our tools are super important. I think the more precise you want to be in any craft, the more detailed, the more precise, the smaller the tool has to be, the more refined the tool has to be. So in this case, you know, the tips of these combs draw really small, clean lines, right? Mm-hmm. And so that allows me to get clean, small sections. So there's my guide right there. I'm going to go past my guide. I'm going to start with a finger's length past my guide. I'm going to start another one. This is a technique called reverse layering, which is a beautiful technique that can be seen on our latest collection in a lot of different ways. And I think with the collections, what we like to do is always explore them in areas of the hair and not just as a haircut. Maybe never as a haircut, more as a look. And you, again, see what the technique does to hair, and then you can easily decide where to use it for your work repertoire or for your individual that you're working on. So reverse layering is a beautiful technique, kind of invented and thought of by a very talented lady called Sylvia. She's a huge inspiration for a lot of people I know, including myself. And she really thinks about hair, and it's very interesting, and she touches hair in a way that I find really fascinating. Mm-hmm. And so she kind of introduced us to this through the last collection, and we've been using it since. And it's kind of nice to have things worked in this way, because it's a way of texturizing the hair without texturizing. So still being very clean, keeping the integrity of the ends of the hair, but creating space in between the hair as it falls. It's almost like, if you think about it, like steps. But the sections are only small. They're about fingers width section. And you lift it and you go fingers width past each one. I'm going to run out at the round of the head, because on Rexy's hair I need to keep that weight on the front for the cowlick and keep that bowl look. But I've got lots of movement above it. And it just flattens out that tip and point. So that's the last section. So it was really only 3 from the crown. 1, 2, 3, flattened out the point, and just gives us a little texture movement to the hair. Now I guess the other way to do this would be texturizing, right? You can go in, get air in that space that way. This does it in this way, more of a horizontal way. So it gives you greater control, and keeps the weight in the hair, which is important, especially in this case. And you can see kind of what that wants to do. Those things don't scare me, though. I think they're great because it can make hair, you know, very individual in how it's dressed. So explore using it for the look and not trying to necessarily hide it, because that's hers. No one else can have that. So you might as well. How you doing? Oh, it looks great.
Hi guys. So working on a little crop look for Melanie. And Lucas is going to come and talk about the color in a little while, but you can see this really beautiful kind of lavendery gray color coming through. So just working on a little round shape, keeping it soft and feminine. And Melanie's look is a kind of androgynous look. She's an artist. She does like it to be clean around, but she's not afraid of the short hair. It suits her beautiful bone structure. So.
Color's great.
A little peek in this corner. I'll lift up the layering so you can see it. But the reverse layering, like I said, is just done it in this little area, the top of the head. I love the chunky feel on the edge of the fringe too. I think that's cool. Mm-hmm. But if we lift this up, let me do it this way, Randy, so you can see it. You'll be able to see each one of the areas. So, got there. There. And that's kind of the last one. This was the whole front. Actually, there's 4 in there. Got 4 in.
Your client wants 4 layers.
It's just 4 layers.
It's funny, we used to laugh about that.
We'll never go away.
No. And then I think a nice way to deal with it, like I said, I like the chunkiness to the edge of the fringe. I love that. So I am going to tip into it a tiny bit, but not in a way to thin it. So if I just hold it this way, I'll work off my fingers, just in the very edge of the hair, just to get a cross section of movement. Also, I do this a lot on the skin, you know, so I'll press the hair down on the skin. But in this case, we have, she might get vanilla iced. Her eyebrows are too nice. Unless she asks for that, I don't want to go there. She don't mind the look, actually.
You can pull off a little cut
Oh,
in the
yeah.
eyebrow.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
I could do this all on the edge. So we have treat the edges of the hair that hangs over all in a similar manner. So for anybody that just joined us, we're here at Sassoon Academy. Myself, Colton, and Allison. These guys are the team that teach the courses and part of the team that teach the courses here. Lots of experience. We have a great time here at the Academy at all levels. We have cosmetology here, we have advanced here, and we do everything from ABC through to collection. It's kind of my favorite place to be, really. Yes, just get that little gentle movement on the edge of the hair. And that's kind of what I want when I cut hair, especially short hair, to be able to just cut it and be done and not have to dress it. And when it comes time to dress it or add product, that'll give me a second or third look or versatility to it instead of, you know, this should be the look. And then from there, you could create versatility through product and tools, I guess. So I like to cut short hair wet to dry. Yesterday, I got to do barbering. I did the reverse, though. I did long hair on a boy yesterday, short hair on a girl today.
Love it. Love it, love it.
You know, it's kind of, hair is that way now, isn't it? Just kind of gender fluid. So a couple things about, maybe I could tell you guys if you want to come and share some hair with us here. Trilogy's coming up. One of the new opportunities is to offer that as one day. So we have 5 individual days that we're offering on the 10th, which is not next week, the week after, which I can't believe we're halfway through December. And then I guess the next big thing we're doing is ISSI. So we'll be at ISSI. There'll be the teach-ins at ISSI. There'll be NAHA at ISSI this year, from Las Vegas to Los Angeles. And we'll be there. We have our show. We have our show to bring the collection in its full entirety onto the stage, on the main stage at Long Beach. Mark Hayes will join us there, which is always a great treat. Talk about cutting hair technically and being clean. That's kind of who challenges me in that. Yeah, so you just get that little bit more of a movable. It's a little bit more forgiving between the graduation and the pointing. So when you use both those techniques, the graduation leaves the weight there, but gives you more of a sketched edge, and then the pointing just gives it that ability to kind of move a bit. And you'll have more success with a cowlick cutting it like that. And I see a lot of times people just put it on the skin and try to cut it really gently without tension. But it's always going to move, and if the edge is too blunt, it doesn't give it that ability to move, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. I like its weight balance being all up in here as well. Short on the edge, but full on the profile, especially with that, really nice flat back. So I'm just going to work a little bit on the scissor over comb on the edges, and then just wrap it up for you guys, I think. So simple technique. Should I recap that first, maybe? Working from the back, I started this in the fingers. Very fine hair. So I started in the fingers, vertical, pivoted to a very square shape. I find when you're working smaller close to the head, if you want it to be geometric, working from the center back and square will give you a profile that is more angular and geometric. So I'm going to take that in a tiny bit, which is what's needed, but you have that flatness. You don't have the round of the head. So I think to me that looks stronger. The rounder shapes tend to look softer, more feminine, less androgynous looking. So being more geometric in structure, even in the fingers when you're tight and short, and even with your scissor over comb, thinking like that as well. The rounder bowly shape sitting on top of that, and just getting that length, like I said, above the brow, beautiful shape in the brows, so just tickling that highest point of the brow into the temple, into the corner of the cheekbones. So just enhancing, there's so many beautiful features, you can kind of keep going. Put here, put here, put here. Now let me dust her off. I'm going to do a little scissor over comb. Maybe Allison, you could talk a little bit. And Colton, let me just loop this because London's been, Instagram is amazing, isn't it? Facebook, Instagram, it's such an amazing way to travel and be inspired. And so lately, the UK team, the color team particularly, have really been pushing color, especially on very short hair. So we watched the video last night, didn't we, of a very tight crop and very geometric colors put in it. Very technically done, which makes the difference. So we've asked Lucas to do a little shape, a very solid shape on Allison's model so we could share that with you. So we'll get him to come in and give you his formulas as well. And then just talk about the simple technique here. Hi, Lucas.
Hello.
Everybody knows Lucas probably. Lucas is our color director here at the Academy. And he is responsible for both these colors.
So let's talk a little bit over here. So your classic bleach and tone. So lifted to a pale yellow, blonde door, 1 to 2. And then working, because we work as a team, shape and balance. Working with what the final result was going to be. And then we kind of placed 2 different tones together. So working with a softer geometric shape on Melanie on the right-hand side, and then more like a lighter silver. So using color touch, the formulas are up there if you need to see them. But color touch is a deposit only, makes the hair feel good. putting a little bit of emphasis on violet with a little blue so we don't get green. Okay, and then where you see the little bit more slate, that is a level 8 with a drop of black in it to give us that little deeper tone to it.
What about the shape? Why the shape that you, the second color, the shape in it, why that shape?
Well, the shape is to give a little contrast, but really it needs to kind of blend together as well. So instead of doing really sharp lines, we did something a little bit more curvy in it. And I think it gives the model or your client an interesting look to it.
You kind of have to look twice to think, you know, what is going on with it. And I love the geometry to it.
Yeah, it's really playing like a shadow.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Yep. And we did the same thing over here, just a little bit more natural. Just went through the fringe and with the color formula, a level 4 with 10 volume, and did slices more on a diagonal. So it gives depth to the front, but it's a bit softer. So again, working with the shape in the consultation. I think these are nice things to do on your clients because they like change, and it doesn't necessarily have to be black and white, just something soft.
Thank you, Lucas.
Thank you.
Okay, how are we doing time-wise? Any last questions before we kind of sign off?
You explain things well. There's no questions. But Lewis from Philly says, please tell Tracy hello.
Aww. Say hi. I just saw Lewis last in London.
Oh,
That's what I think it is. Just here, this little temple. Fine details are important, aren't they? So just when you work hairlines, work parallel to them. So I'm just going to pick that up. It's not always a lot of hair, but the smallest amount of hair makes a difference. Just pull it forward and get it to sit in. So then it just sits in, and then that sits forward. I quite like this square line right in the corner of the eye. Okay, guys, I'm good. Good. So what we're going to do, you guys, is take a couple of pictures of this gorgeous face and little haircut. We'll dress it, dry it. It's still a little damp in there, but like I said, this, I guess, is the worst it would look. And we'll post the pictures in the comments. We'll post the formulas in the comments if it hasn't been done. And any other ways, if you guys want to reach us in the future or keep up with us on Instagram, please do. Send your hellos and highs and any questions. And hope to see you all, if not before the end of the year, in the new year. And thank you, Hairbrain, for always allowing us to share hair the way you do. Thank you.